welcome the Emery Stoops and Joyce King Stoops Dean of the USC Rossier School of Education, Pedro A. Noguera.
Good afternoon, friends, and welcome. I want to just say how nice it is to have a special occasion to recognize the members of our faculty who will be recognized today with endowed chairs. It's truly a special occasion for all of us. And I particularly want to thank the family that have come out to celebrate these individuals because we know that it takes sacrifice from a whole family to support a person do the kind of work these individuals have done to get to this point. I want to thank Provost Andrew Guzman, Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, for joining us today. I also want to thank our endowment donors, Donna Attallah, who is here. Wave your hand, Donna. So good to see you. And Veronica and David Hagen. Thank you both for being here with us today. We're also joined by Michael Lizarraga, who is a member of our Board of Counselors. So thank you, Michael, for being with us. So I am pleased to welcome our distinguished guest of honor today. And maybe as I call your name, you could just stand so they can see you. You'll get another time again to say something. Yasemin Copur-Gencturk. Jessica DeCuir-Gunby. Mary Helen Immordino-Yang. Maria Ott. And Tracy Poon Tambascia. Thank you all. This is a very special ceremony. Today we're honoring an excellent group of chairs, all of whom are women and at the forefront of their fields. Their leadership, innovation, and dedication have not only advanced their respective disciplines, but have also paved the way for future generations of women in academia and beyond. Today's gathering is rooted in a vibrant history at USC and within institutions of higher education worldwide. Since the endowed professorships were created in England in 1502, it has been a tradition to honor both the benefactor and recipient of this distinguished position, with the designated chair to acknowledge its historic thread and significance in the academic community. I hope that you can sense the magnitude of this accomplishment and this connection to history as we honor and reflect on the intellectual and professional contributions of our distinguished colleagues. Each of our 5 honorees has displayed a steadfast commitment to academic inquiry and contributed to paradigmatic shifts within their fields of expertise. As you will hear, their impact on the field and on our society is profound, and each has earned the right to sit here today. To help us celebrate and commemorate this momentous occasion, we are honored to have our Provost, Dr. Andrew Guzman. Provost Guzman oversees the university's academic enterprise, including 18 professional schools. He's a legal scholar specializing in international law and economics. Previously served as the Dean of the USC Gould School of Law, where he expanded academic offerings and diversity initiatives. Before joining USC, he was professor and associate dean at UC Berkeley and holds a JD and PhD in economics from Harvard University. Please join me in welcoming Provost Guzman.
Hello, everybody, and thank you, Dean Noguera. Welcome. It's so great to see such a great turnout for such a great event. And I'm really delighted to be able to join the Rossier community for this celebration. I find these chair celebrations to be among the most joyous, incredible things I get to do from time to time. And they're special, I think, because they give us this opportunity to honor excellence in our community. And we speak, as we should, often about academic excellence. And we strive for it as we should. And the opportunity to pause and recognize it and reward people who've achieved it is something that's really important and feels really wonderful. and one of the features of an institution like USC, of all well-functioning academic institutions in the United States, is that faculty appointments and faculty recognition are fundamentally in the hands of the faculty, as it should be. They're not within the control, for example, of deans or, God forbid, provosts. And the fact that your peers have chosen you for this honor, I think, makes it even more special for a lot of reasons. One, because when one's recognized by the peers in any field, that's all the more special. But in our area, in our profession, in higher education, we've built the success of higher education. I like to observe the longest lasting institutions, non-religious institutions in the history of the world, our universities. We've built these things on the notion that peer review is the best way forward. And it has to be the best way forward to us, because when we achieve our goals of excellence in inquiry and knowledge and understanding, only the people at the forefront of the field can recognize who else is successful at the forefront of the field. There are no other experts. They are us. And so when our peers recognize colleagues for these honors, it's really acknowledging that fact. It's acknowledging that these are people who are operating at the forefront of their fields, who've achieved at that level, and who've achieved in a space where only their peers can properly assess how they've done. And for our 5 honorees today, that's exactly what's happened. I was going to name each of you and say a very brief sentence about your work, but I was scooped by Pedro. So I'm not, because you're also going to come up and speak, and so I'm going to not say you. So, but to each of you, congratulations and on this great honor. I want to note that the awarding of endowed chairs and professorships is not just a formality, right? From a distance, it could be mistaken as that, but it's an acknowledgement of exactly the kind of excellence in scholarship, teaching, or practice that I described, and that defines the very best of what we do. It's also part of a centuries-old tradition, right? There's an actual chair. We do that a little less than they used to, that connects us to the very earliest days of universities and the search for truth, the inquiry into the world we live in. It's a recognition of superb work, of the individuals being honored, of course, but beyond that, it's also a celebration of what we do together, the collective pursuit of knowledge, of teaching, of performance, practice. And all of our honorees today are terrific exemplars of exactly that. They've served as mentors, guides to their students, they've inspired their colleagues, and of course they've advanced the frontiers of knowledge and practice in each of their fields. And I can't avoid a modest editorial comment, which is this is always important. It is especially important at a time when there are people questioning the value of higher education, which I suspect I'm not alone in this room in feeling is not only profound, but should be self-evident. Though if we have to make the case for it, we can do that too. So I want to encourage you to brag about these people for a couple reasons. One, they deserve it, and that's good, and that might motivate you. But you also get to enjoy the reflected glow of their achievements. And for those, if you're a little more self-interested or self-motivated, I'm an economist. You can do that too. But this is an opportunity, this celebration, but also acknowledging these achievements going forward is an opportunity for us to celebrate collectively the community in which we live and the superb work of our colleagues. And so on behalf of President Folt and the entire USC community, I'm so pleased to congratulate each of you on this honor. I thank the entire Rossier community for their participation in that. I thank you all for being at USC, for enriching USC and our scholarly community, as well as the communities around us. Congratulations, and I hope you have a great time being honored. Pedro, back to you.
Thank you, Provost Guzman. So each of these individuals that we're going to honor today has made unique and distinguished contributions to the field of education. I'm going to start with Yasemin Copur-Gencturk, who is now our Katzman Ernst Chair in Educational Entrepreneurship, Technology, and Innovation. I actually had the pleasure of visiting Yasemin at her home in Turkey this past summer and meeting her family. And I'm so glad that her husband, who's also on the faculty here in Viterbi, and their daughter and mother-in-law are here all the way from Istanbul. So thank you for joining us today. Life partners John Katzman and Alicia Ernst established this chair position in 2008 to harness the power of modern technology to train and certify teachers for a 21st century learning environment that requires adaptability, creativity, and reinventing long-held norms and practices within the teaching profession. Copur-Gencturk embodies this vision every day through her work. Her research focuses on the identification and development of knowledge needed for quality teaching and student learning, and understanding the role of teachers' knowledge and implicit beliefs in equity in mathematics classrooms. Her recent projects identify ways professional development programs powered by artificial intelligence can help math teachers focus instructional time and resources to improve mathematics learning. Her Science of Teaching Math program is a research group that focuses on teachers' acquisitions of knowledge and pedagogical skills and the transfer of these skills into their practice with special attention to issues of equity. Copur-Gencturk is at the forefront of leveraging emerging technologies to improve the profession of teaching and advance educational equity. We will now take a moment to enjoy a video outlining Yasemin's contributions to the field.
The problem-solving nature of my work really excites me. One of the primary reasons that drives my research is to understand how to improve student learning of and love for mathematics. My work advances our understanding of the knowledge and skills needed for effective mathematics teaching. But I feel like the biggest contribution I'm making is the research that proves content expertise must be central to improving teaching and learning. Coming from a disadvantaged background helps me understand and appreciate the public education, which was my only way to break the cycle. Unfortunately, public education often fails to serve students who need the most help, which drives my motivation to find solutions to improve it. I feel like I'm making a difference when I receive emails from people around the world telling me that my research has an influence on them. It is especially meaningful when former students express their gratitude for impacting their teaching through what they learn in my class.
She is a math educator par excellence. She is doing amazing work to advance math education, generating so much funding for research, and just willing to roll up her sleeves and get into schools, work with teachers. I can't imagine a better person for the Katzman Chair.
My future goals creating more equitable and scalable learning opportunities for teachers so that we can impact teaching at scale. I am extremely grateful for this opportunity, and it's motivating me more than ever to do something that has broader impact on mathematics education, teacher education.
Yasemin. And I think, Andrew, if you could come up for the photo op. And you get to say a few words.
Okay.
And you want to sit in the middle? Oh, you want her in the chair? Sure.
Right behind it.
Okay. Oh, behind the chair.
As always, I'm nervous, so you know me. I'm not a public speaker. I'm not going to talk about my research or the contribution that I'm making to the field, because I want to take this opportunity to thank people who helped me build this career that I'm so proud of. I want to start thanking John Katzman and Alicia Ernst for their dedication to education and for making this chair position possible. And now more than ever, we need support for education and educational research. I'm also grateful to the selection committee for this honor and for recognizing my work as worthy of distinction. So thank you. And special thanks to Pedro for his vision for our school and his unwavering support. As I said earlier, with this opportunity, I want to express my gratitude to those who have a profound impact on my career. I want to start with my incredible students and colleagues. I couldn't have reached this point alone. Without you, I wouldn't be able to pursue my vision, work toward the ambitious goals I have set. I know I'm extremely ambitious, and I'm sorry for that. Thank you for your hard work, intellectual curiosity, and dedication to improving teaching and learning mathematics through rigorous research. And I also want to acknowledge my undergrad abstract algebra professor, Adnan Tercan, who is not here, but who made a huge impact on my future. Adnan Tercan not only allowed me to attend school when I risked being expelled from college for wearing a headscarf, but also advocated for me with other professors so that I could attend other classes as well. Doing the right thing was not easy and never is, but that didn't stop him. So I am truly grateful for his courage and support. And I am especially grateful to Lucio Soibelman, who is here, for his unwavering support in helping me achieve my goals. Both my husbands and me in academia, and securing faculty positions that are fulfilling for both of us has not been easy. And Lucio's steadfast support made it possible. Thank you so much, Lucio, for everything you have done. And I want to acknowledge two extraordinary colleagues whom I consider my protective angels. Thank you, Julie Slayton. Unfortunately, she's not here teaching, but thank you for has being on my side, has standing by my side, and always helping me navigate challenges. And Leila Hassan, I heard that you came. Oh, okay, you are here. Okay, thank you, Leila, for being an exceptional colleague, but also truly a wonderful person, being a wonderful person. And I also want to appreciate some of our excellent staff who has helped me a lot. Susan Veliza, Andrea Cadrea, and Cassandra Jackson for supporting me and supporting my research. Their dedication to removing obstacles and finding solutions rather than creating more problems has made a huge difference. And I want to express my deepest gratitude to my family for being my constant support. My parents deeply believe in education, in the power of education, and use their limited means to ensure that we had opportunities to excel. Not last, but not definitely least, Bora, for being an amazing mentor and for being my best friend. I learned a lot from him. He was always supporting me. I don't think they say this way, but they say there is a man behind a successful woman, and Bora was definitely living proof of that. Thank you so much for believing in me, and please keep up the hard work. I said last, but I remember two things. My daughter, Verda, she helped me. She's constantly helping me, putting everything into perspective, and for reminding me that there is always something greater than success. So thank you, Verda, for doing that. And I'm going to conclude my speech by thanking the God for all the blessing he has given me, including this amazing honor. Thank you so much.
And I heard Bora promised a honeymoon in Italy sometime this summer, so I don't want to hold you accountable, but I heard the promise. Dr. Jessica DeCuir-Gunby, the Robert A. Naslund Chair in Curriculum and Teaching. She is one of the first faculty that I can say that we helped to recruit in my time as dean, and we're so pleased that she's joined us. Robert Naslund was a nationally known education consultant who shaped USC curricula. He taught in the USC School of Education from 1950 to 1976, ending his tenure as the founding chairman of its Department of Curriculum and Instruction. The legacy of Robert Naslund continues in the research and teaching of the professorship named in his honor. At USC Rossier, Dr. DeCuir-Gunby's research centers on three key areas: race and racial identity, applied research methods, particularly mixed methods research, and the intersection of emotions, coping, and experiences of race and racism. She also contributes to scholarship on the research process, guiding others in applying methodological approaches through a race-conscious lens. DeCuir-Gunby is a passionate and translating educational theory and research into concrete practices that can be implemented in all classroom environments. Additionally, last fall, DeCuir-Gunby was selected to serve as the executive director of the USC Race and Equity Center. Through this role, she is continuing the center's long-standing history of illuminating and disrupting systems of oppression to advance equity for marginalized groups. Last year, Dr. DeCuir-Gunby was also named president of the American Psychological Association's Educational Psychology Division 15. Through this prestigious leadership role, she aims to expand the group's membership, improve the integration of diversity, equity, and inclusion into the field, and better connect research to practice. DeCuir-Gunby's contributions to the profession of teaching are vast and highly influential. Her students graduate to fruitful and deeply impactful careers, thanks in part to her mentorship and excellence in the classroom. We will now take a moment to enjoy a video describing Dr. DeCuir-Gunby's contribution to the field.
I study race and racism, particularly how racism impacts the experiences of African American students in education. I like telling people stories. African Americans in particular don't always get to tell their stories, and so I like being able to talk to Black parents and teachers and students. Being able to tell their stories allows us to better understand what's happening in the school context, and eventually allow us to better improve schools and then improve communities. My field is educational psychology. Psychology isn't really known for talking about issues of race and racism, and so for me it's about challenging the dominant perspective in educational psychology.
Dr. Jessica DeCuir-Gunby is one of our new faculty members. We're so pleased that she's with us. Not only is she an extraordinary scholar, but she is now the director of our Race and Equity Center, doing amazing work in our field as an educational psychologist. I can't imagine a person be more appropriate for this chair.
As executive director of the USC Race and Equity Center, I want to continue the legacy that Dr. Sean Harper created, but also want to expand it. A lot of the work we do, we don't just kind of point out what's wrong. We also talk about how do we fix it. The Naslund Chair opens up a variety of opportunities in research, service, and teaching. And I think for this chair, it's also about re-envisioning theory and pedagogy in the 21st century. I really want to get more engaged with teacher education. So it's one thing to talk about what's going on in classrooms and going on with education, but it's another thing to actually be in classrooms and seeing kids and seeing teachers and working with that community.
Please join me in welcoming Jessica DeCuir-Gunby. Andrew.
I'm going to keep my remarks pretty short. So growing up in a low-resource area of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, I did not have access to fancy schools. However, I always attended schools with amazing teachers, like at my elementary school. My elementary school teachers and principal cared about me and all the children who looked like me. My teachers made sure they created academically rigorous activities that reflected the students in their classrooms. My teachers wanted everyone to learn the materials and feel included and that they belong. As a student, I loved learning and felt connected to school because I could see myself. I could see myself in the lessons that we learned. That is what a good curriculum can do. That is what a good teacher can do. That is what good teaching can do. That is why curriculum and teaching are so important and why this chair means so very much to me. I am deeply honored to hold the Robert A. Naslund Chair in Curriculum and Teaching. I would like to thank the many people who have helped to make this all possible. First, I would like to thank the Naslund family and colleagues for establishing this chair to honor the important and often undervalued work that educators do each and every day. I thank Dean Pedro Noguera for entrusting me with such an honor. Thank you to my Rossier colleagues and students for their continued support. To my team at the USC Race and Equity Center for embracing my leadership and joining me on this journey. To my friends near and far, especially Sean Harper, Roya Johnson, Brendisha Tynes, Donna Bradley, Tracy Ford, and Mika Williams, thank you for always being there to lift me up. As always, I thank my family, especially Norris Gunby Jr. and my son, Norris Gunby III, who are always there to encourage me and help me whenever I need it. And although they are no longer here with us, I thank my parents for instilling in me a love of learning, the value of being a hard worker, and an appreciation for difference. Thank you so very much.
Congratulations, Jessica. Before I introduce the next chair, I just want to acknowledge I see two more members of our Board of Counselors. Darren Brawley, who is the Superintendent of Compton Unified, and Carol Fox, who has been a longstanding member of our board. Thank you both for joining us today. Mary Helen Immordino-Yang, the Fahmy and Donna Attallah Chair in Humanistic Psychology. Fahmy and Attallah and Donna Ford created this chair position in 1997 to reflect the couple's deep commitment to their professions. Fahmy, who earned a bachelor's in psychology in 1955 and a master's in education in 1956 at USC, worked for school districts in Los Angeles and Orange counties for 2 decades before devoting himself to private practice for an additional 10 years. Donna taught kindergarten and first grade in the Cypress District for 40 years until retirement in 2001. Mary Helen Immordino-Yang has gained an international reputation through work on the neural and psychological processes that support effective learning, teaching, and well-being. Today, she serves as the director of the USC Center for Effective Neuroscience Development, Learning, and Education, also known as CANDLE. Her work at CANDLE brings educational innovation and developmental effective neuroscience into partnership and uses what is learned to guide the transformation of schools, policy, and the student and teacher experience for a healthier and more equitable society. Her research underscores the active role youth play in their own brain and psychosocial development through the narratives they construct and capacities teachers cultivate to support student belonging and deep learning. Her recent work to study transcendent thinking has identified a manner through which teens can grow their brains over time and lead to increased life satisfaction. This work has influenced research and scholarship across the globe, which has earned Dr. Immordino-Yang this prestigious role that we gathered to recognize today. This was evident earlier this week when she announced a $2.1 million grant from the Bezos Family Foundation to launch the CANDLE Innovation Lab. This groundbreaking initiative will explore how cutting-edge neuroscience can be integrated into classroom practices to foster deeper student engagement and durable change in adolescent education. We'll now take a few moments to enjoy a video describing her contributions to the field.
I work on the ways that young people make meaning, the way we experience the world, and the ways in which our opportunities to learn can support those processes. This chair is a springboard from which to build out the future of CANDLE, the USC Center for Affective Neuroscience Development, Learning, and Education. In the CANDLE lab, we're doing research that pushes the boundaries of what's possible, bringing together neuroimaging with psychophysiological recording of the body while people think about and learn about complex, meaningful, real-world issues. We're gaining new insights into the ways in which being a person in today's world can be actively supported by the way we design schools that support teachers.
Mary Helen Immordino-Yang is just an extraordinary scholar. Her work on neuroscience and the brain and how that impacts learning is really cutting edge. And she really embodies what this Attallah chair represents, and we're so pleased to see her in this chair.
My husband and I both, as a teacher, he was working as a school psychologist. So we're very into what is needed in schools, how we can help others in the school system.
What really excites me about this work is we are on the verge of major new discoveries about the nature of experience, emotion, sociality, and learning. To Donna and Fahmy, thank you. Thank you for your generosity, for your vision in endowing this chair. I really, truly appreciate it. And it's going to enable us to do great things.
All right. Please join me in congratulating Mary Helen Immordino-Yang for this well-deserved honor. And we'd like to welcome her and Donna Attallah to the stage.
I still use note paper when I think about things that really matter the most to me. Thank you, Dean Noguera and Provost Guzman and distinguished colleagues, and especially thank you to you, Donna, for stewarding your and Fahmy's vision through all these years to make this chair possible. I'm honored to be installed in it. As I reflected on the significance of this day, which I take as a responsibility and an opportunity, I thought back to Fahmy and to the wonderful memories of him you've shared with me, Donna. Fahmy was an immigrant. He dreamed. He loved. He wrote poetry. He thought, and he swam long distances. And you, Donna, were a teacher for 40 years. You lovingly stewarded our smallest citizens, beautiful little 5- and 6-year-old people, into the possibilities that education can provide. And together, you and Fahmy decided to endow a chair in the Rossier School of Education in humanistic psychology. Humanistic psychology focuses on the person as a whole, as a developing being, a being with infinite emergent potentials, a being in community, not a person alone, a being in relationship with themselves, with others, with ideas, and with society. A basic tenet, the basic tenet of humanistic psychology is quite simple. It is that human beings are inherently good and worthy of love and worthy of opportunities to learn in the service of self-actualization and in the service of doing good in society. I think that you had an amazing vision, and I promise to work hard to make it possible for all children. Thank you.
I'll mention, she also has a husband over here, and he's taking pictures, but I know he's feeling awfully proud. And they have 2 children up in the Bay, one that just graduated from Stanford, the other at Berkeley. So congratulations, Mary Helen. Maria G. Ott, the Irving R. and Virginia A. Melbo Chair in Educational Administration. She's been selected to serve as the Melbo Chair in Educational Administration, which was established in 1973 following Irving R. Melbo's retirement as Dean of the USC Rossier School of Education. The Melbos believe that all USC Rossier graduates should be prepared to go out and lead across the state of California and serve as school and district leaders both in the state and the nation, providing exemplary educational expertise and influencing the direction of education. Currently, 83 of USC Rossier's graduates are California superintendents in K-12 school districts, for 1/3 of the state's school children. This reputation of leadership and impact at USC Rossier is directly connected to Melbo's legacy. Ott served for more than 40 years as an educator in K-12 systems. That includes 14 years as superintendent and 5 years as senior deputy superintendent of the Los Angeles Unified School District. We finally tell them, you can't have her anymore. We want her back. Her transition to higher education was an opportunity to apply her experiences to the preparation of leaders for our school systems, colleges, and universities. At USC, Dr. Ott designed and launched the USC Rossier Urban Superintendent's Academy in 2015 in partnership with the American Association of School Administrators. This organization is preparing diverse and equity-minded leaders for the K-12 system for our nation. Dr. Ott also plans and hosts the Melbo Lecture at USC Rossier, which features prominent speakers discussing important topics related to educational leadership and innovation, often focusing on current trends and challenges in the field. She's an exemplary leader who is respected and trusted by school leaders across the nation. She's the ideal candidate to continue carrying out the Melbo legacy, and we congratulate her on this much-deserved honor. We'll now take a moment to enjoy a video describing Maria Ott's contribution to the field.
I have spent my entire career working on issues of literacy for English language learners and cultural proficiency for school districts. I was inspired by the adversity I faced as a child. It was hard and painful, and I've always felt like I don't want any child to experience that. We need to have the kind of environment that welcomes our students who are learning English and their families, and that they are part of the culture of the school and the school district, and they're valued. My work has continued to make an impact on leadership in the educational field because I prepare future leaders, both in the courses that I teach, the doctoral students that are under my supervision, but also in the Urban Superintendent Academy, preparing leaders for across the nation. On a personal level, I'm so honored to hold this chair. Irving R. Melbo was just an amazing leader. His legacy, I think, still is evident in the School of Education.
He was very personal, but you could tell that he was a person of convictions and that he was a person of accomplishment.
The chair has given me the opportunity to start a lecture series. So to be in a position where you can have topics that are timely for the educational field and that provide resources, knowledge for those practitioners who are out there, navigating this new space, that excites me.
I am sure that if were Melbo still alive, he would be pleased to know that someone of the caliber of Maria Ott is holding that chair. She truly is an exceptional leader and is helping Rossier to prepare a future generation of educational leaders. Maria Ott.
Special thank you, Dean Noguera, for your kind words and this recognition, and thank you, Provost Guzman. I'm honored to fill this chair. The Melbos were Trojan leaders who exemplified vision, innovation, and courage. You know, when you think about a dean who was here for 20 years, what an impact that he made during his time in that role. I wanted to also acknowledge the support from the Melbo Committee of Dr. Robert Ferris and Dr. Richard Tyndall. Appreciate their gracious and generous support for the chair. I'd also like to thank Kanae Danley, Rachel Beal, Eric Olson, and their teams for all they do to make the Melbo event successful. A lot of work goes into that. I'd like to acknowledge my family that's here with me, my husband Tom, who has been my rock throughout my career, my brother John Gutierrez, my sister Ann Anderek, and her daughter Madison. Really value my family. Online, I have a daughter and son and their families who are watching, so I want to give a shout out to the people who are watching on Zoom. In addition, I would like to acknowledge my friend of over 30 years, Darlene Robles. We have moved mountains together. Really, truly, we've moved mountains. And my faculty colleagues who have given me so much grace and have shared their expertise during my 12 years as a member of the Rossier faculty team. I appreciate each and every one of you. You've shared your knowledge, and I have absorbed it. I also want to thank my students. They have given me a connection to the field always, and I appreciate each and every one of my students. And I want to thank Carrie Matheson, who supports my Melbo chair position. She's over there in the back. I would like to end by saying that education administration is not about looking back. It's about allowing ourselves to look forward and imagine and shape the future. We need to break through the perceived barriers and continue doing amazing things to unlock the potential of those we teach. Uncertainty and caution may cause us to pause, but we are leaders that prepare leaders. Complex challenges are opportunities to innovate and redesign. With courage and will, we are writing a new and brave narrative about education that works for all students and strengthens our communities and our society. Our highest aspirations and deepest passion for doing what is right guides us on this journey. We must fight on. Thank you for this honor.
Last but not least, Tracy Poon Tambascia. She is the Veronica and David Hagen Chair in Women's Leadership. This position was created in 2019 to support a chaired professor dedicated to the study of the underrepresentation of women in leadership positions and to provide coaching and mentoring to other women to assume leadership roles in education. The namesakes of this position, Veronica Hagen and David Hagen, funded this position to address the crucial equity issue in education. Veronica Hagen is a previous president and CEO of Polymer Group Incorporated, and her husband, David Hagen, is a former member of the USC Rossier Board of Counselors and a retired superintendent of the Huntington Beach Unified School District. Tambascia embodies the goals the Hagens have for women's leadership in education. She was the first woman of color elected to serve as president of the USC Academic Senate, and prior to her appointment at USC Rossier, has held many prestigious positions in higher education, including Vice President of Student Affairs and Dean of Students at Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, and Dean of Students at Whittier College. Last year, Tambascia launched the USC Rossier Hagen Women's Leadership Fellowship, which aims to strengthen pathways to professional success and attainment for EDD students focused on opportunities to attend or present at professional conferences. Currently, she serves as an American Council on Education Fellow and chair of the WASC Senior College and University Commission. Please enjoy this video describing Tambascia's contributions to the field.
My research and teaching focuses on university administration, international and global higher education, and accreditation policy making and equity and inclusion. I'm a first-generation college student, and so I remember those times when I first landed on a campus and I didn't know anything. It took me a long time to understand that there were people there, faculty and student affairs educators who would support me. That inspired me to engage in that work, to enter the field. But then when I realized, oh, I could actually teach the people who do this work, that encouraged me to go on and become a faculty member.
When we looked around where we could help and support, we picked the School of Education because we feel so very strongly about education for ourselves and for our whole family. The combination, though, what I saw was leadership was important. In business, certainly, and in education. And good leaders can do so many wonderful things.
And we wanted somebody that could be an advocate for women, that could be a model for women, a mentor, and could also provide experiences and maybe open some doors and make possible some of the things that we've had in our career.
I'm pleased to see Tracy Tambascia take this chair. The Hagen Chair is about women in leadership, and she really exemplifies the characteristics we see in women in leadership in higher education. She was chair of the Academic Senate. She's been a leader at Rossier for many years, and we're really pleased to see her in this new role.
This endowed chair recognizes work that I was already doing. I have been a proponent of women's leadership. I have served in leadership roles. I advocate and support, mentor women and leaders throughout my career. And in some ways, I feel like it's also a slight nudge to say, go forward and do more. Receiving this endowed chair really positions me better to think more broadly, probably more deeply and at larger scale about ways in which we can encourage women's leadership in education.
Please join me welcoming Tracy Poon Tambascia and the Hagens, please.
So I understand that I'm the last thing that stands between you and that dinner reservation, so I'm going to be very brief. I want to start with gratitude. First, I want to thank David and Ronnie Hagen, whose generous gift is so fitting as they themselves are impactful leaders in education and industry. This gift is an investment in the future of women's leadership, furthering the work that they have been doing for decades, so thank you so much. I also want to thank Dean Noguera for his deep support of me for this position, and also for his support of my work with the American Council for Education Fellowship and so many other things. And I want to say, Pedro, I promise you I'm going to stop asking for things, so thank you. Thank you to the Associate Dean for Faculty, Larry Pikus, who knows each time that we meet that I'm going to ask for his advice and perspective, and he shares that so generously. I also want to thank my family for their unending support. My husband Tony is here with two of my kids, Claire and Lucas, and my brother Philip is here with his wife Martina. Thank you for being here. I want to say it's both inspiring and humbling to stand here today with Yasemin, Jessica, Mary Helen, and Maria, to hear their stories, and I am very grateful for their contributions and their strength. They are shining examples of the immense talent and commitment that can be found in the faculty and staff throughout the whole school, throughout all of Rossier. It's fitting that I'm the last chair to be installed here today, because I believe deeply that our opportunities and successes are built upon those who come before us. Recently, I was going through a box of my mother's belongings, and among the many black and white photos, I found the airline ticket stubs and the immigration paperwork that was used to bring my family here from Hong Kong to the United States in 1972. Apparently, my mother kept everything. The opportunities that I've had and the success I've enjoyed came about because of the decisions made by my mother and father to seek better educational opportunities and a better way of life for their 7 children. And let me be clear, my parents did not move from their country of birth to go to a country where they did not speak the language that was full of unknowns. They didn't do this because it was easy. They did it because they knew we had something to contribute to the country and that hardship was just part of the exchange. My parents didn't have more than a high school education, but they knew that education and opportunity were the key to our future. They could not have imagined that I would be standing here today receiving an endowed chair, which is such an honor. I want to close with the idea that the vast changes facing higher education, that among the vast changes, we must not forget that we are the leaders who must ensure opportunity, educational access, and success for those who come after us. That's not to say that we should hold firm to what we have today, nor look back with nostalgia and believe that the past is what we should seek. But we also cannot loosen our commitment to the idea that high-quality education can transform the lives of students, and we need to continue to find ways to do that better in the future and not abandon it. Thank you.
So let me close by saying this, and to some degree, this is directed to the provost. We received an advisory that there are certain words that are taboo now, and not from you, from the administration. And one of those words was woman. And we said, woman is a taboo word now? It could get us investigated. Well, we're going to be in trouble because we got 5 today who are so distinguished and so accomplished. So I'm just warning you, Provost, that we may get in trouble for this, but I am so thrilled to have 5 distinguished scholars join us in such an important role. So thank you all for being with us, and please join us in the reception.